Hey everybody, it's Spear, and we are back with the Archetype 101s for set 14 Cross Spirit, the set that's very heavily focused off using your markers on your unisons as cost for a bunch of skills. Today we are covering SS4 Miracles. For a bit of context, for those of you guys who don't know, Miracles is a magic mechanic, which basically says you get to reveal the first card you draw per turn, and by doing so, you get to pay a reduced cost if it is a miracle card. And this is effectively what this archetype is doing. You're really focusing on manipulating the top of your deck and then revealing the cards that you want to be able to play cards at cheaper costs at different timings, which gives you a lot of flexibility in how you get to time your aggression, time your control aspects of your deck, and makes for a really fun archetype. But of course, before we get started, if you guys want to pick up any of the cards that I talk about in today's 101, you guys have to go check out 3 Mana Inc., the best place in Canada to get your Dragon Ball singles and sealed product guaranteed. Links to them will be down in the description below. With that said, we'll just go ahead and jump right into the archetype. So, real quick overview, like I said, it's top deck manipulation. You're trying to set up the top of your deck in a certain way so that you can reveal very specific cards at certain timings to be able to pay for cheaper costs. And a lot of these things do board control when they come in. It's a very typical Yellow thing to do. Hey, cards are in rest mode, we're going to get rid of them. This gives you the opportunity to do so. And because you're doing it sometimes on your own turn, sometimes your opponent's turn, there's that control aspect to the deck where you can mitigate and manage how your opponent's board is going to look like. Of course, with all things, we start off with the leader. So here we have Son Goku. When this card attacks, draw 1 card. Then auto, if you have 2 or more energy, when a yellow battle card is revealed from the top of your deck, placed in your drop area, and played that by that card's skill, which is basically, hey, are you doing what this deck wants to do? You may flip this card over. If you do, draw 1 card, switch up to 1 your energy active mode, then add cards from your life to your hand until you have 5 life left. So alternate awakening condition, we love to see those, very common for very good leaders these days. Almost any relevant ones have some way to awaken early. And then if not, you can awaken, add 4 life or less, and draw 2 cards instead. So you get to mitigate that. You don't get the energy on tap, but you get to draw cards if it ends up being a more drawn out game. So you got options there. Then on the awakened side, we have SS4 Son Goku Returned from Hell. Auto, when this card attacks, draw 2 cards, choose 1 card from your hand and place it on top of your deck. And this card gets 5k power for that battle. So he's a 20k attacker, which is super relevant. And he sets up the top of his deck by itself. And it's basically selective draw. You get to put whatever you want. So it's really good hand fixing. Because not only are you going to be able to set up the top of your deck so that you can reveal cards and do a bunch of shenanigans with that, but it also mitigates, like, the really powerful thing about miracle decks like these and things that like allow the top deck manipulation is that, let's say you have a shuffle effect, you really want to get rid of a card in your hand and you don't want to redraw it. Well, then you can place cards on top of your deck, use a shuffle ability, which isn't that hard in the game, and then beyond that you get to reset the top of your deck effectively, which makes it really cool ability. Then we have an activate main, add up to 1 Android 18 Defender of Heroes from your deck, that's the Unison, to your hand, and then shuffle your deck, then choose 1 card in your hand and place it on top of your deck, negate the skill for the game. So you're pretty much guaranteed to be able to see your Unison at least once per game. Super powerful, really good for consistency. Then activate main once per turn, Spirit Boost 1. Spirit Boost meaning that you're going to have to pay that many markers off of your Unison to activate the ability. Not necessarily always 1, there's a couple of skills that have 2, some of them have X, which means you pay up to X amount. So for this one specifically, reveal the top card of your deck and place it in your drop area. So basically, Spirit Boost once per turn, you get to activate this deck's mechanic, which is effectively revealing the card, and it goes over to drop, and then you may use the card's ability to play it. Now do note, guys, that you have to reveal the card. So let's say you play against a mill leader. A mill leader will not proc off the abilities of your cards because you are not revealing them, you're simply placing them in your drop area. So that is a distinct difference you need to be aware of if you want to pick up the deck. Then moving from there, we have the miracles themselves. What cards are we trying to play out from the top of our deck? So first we have Self-Restraint SS Son Goku, 3 cost 19k blocker, auto for 1 yellow if your leader card is yellow. When this card is revealed from the top of your deck and placed in your drop area, you may play this card from your drop area. And all of them basically say this first auto, which is basically how you play them. Then secondarily, as an auto, when this card is played, you get to draw 1 card, place up to 1 card from your hand on top of your deck, then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and switch it to rest mode. So you can prevent some aggro, because remember, based on the timings, you can actually do this on your opponent's turn. So you get to stave off some aggro, you draw a card, and additionally you get to set up the top of your deck to be able to do another one if need be. Then we have SS4 Son Goku, the Brawler, 4 cost 20k deflect double striker. Auto for 1 yellow, played if it's revealed and sent to the drop. from the top of your deck. And then auto, when this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO it. So you see the combo a little bit there. You go from self-restraint, you rest a card, you go into SS4 Son Goku, you kill the card. So the deck definitely combos within itself on that front. Then we have Son Gohan, the Brawler, 1 cost 4K. Auto, if your leader card is yellow, his card is revealed to the top of your deck and then milled out, you get to play it, and it's basically a free blocker. So not all of them have costs. We do have some free ones. You know, most decks in some way, shape, or form have a free blocker, and here we have Son Gohan to fulfill that role. Then we have Trunks the Brawler, 1 cost 4K. Auto, if your leader card is yellow, when it's revealed and sent to drop, you get to play it. This one, once again, for free. And then auto, when this card is played, you get to draw 1 card, then choose 1 card from your hand and place it on top of your deck. Again, resetting upper board. So that in itself isn't too crazy, but he does have an activate main, Spirit Boost for 1. If your lead card is a Yellow Son Goku GT, which if you're playing the deck, it pretty much has to be, reveal the top card of your deck and place it in your drop area. So now we have another battle card that gives us the ability to be able to proc off this ability. Because remember, it has to be specifically revealed. So we need card skills that force us to reveal the top of our deck to be able to even bother trying to play these cards. And then finally, we have Pan the Brawler, 2 cost 5K blocker, auto limit 1. When this card is revealed from the top of your deck and placed in your drop area, played from your drop area, then you may have your leader card gain critical for the turn. So your leader is a 20k on the awakened side. So it's making your leader basically a 20k crit, which is kind of nice. And it's a blocker that sits on board. You get to do it for free. Doesn't hurt too bad. And this is basically the entirety of your miracles package. You get a bit of board control, you get some defensive cards, you get some removal, as well as a couple of junky bodies in the form of like SS4 for the double strike. Then going on to enablers, the cards that allow us to be able to do this over and over. We've seen a couple with the leader as well as the Pan, but of course there are multiple options as well. Here we have SS Son Goten the Brawler. 1 cost 4K auto, when this card is played, like a top 5 cards top of your deck, add up to 1 yellow Saiyan card, which cost 4 or less, or 1 yellow Unison card, put a card 1 among them, and then shuffle your deck. So Searcher, 1 cost Searchers, pretty helps with the consistency of the deck. And then he has an active mean that if your leader card is a Son Goku GT card with 10k power, and you discard this card from your hand, reveal the top card of your deck and place it in your drop area. So this one effectively only working on the awakened side, which is kind of lame, but hey, you do what you got to do. It effectively allows you to awaken. You can do this, and if you happen to have a free blocker that you can play out, then you can go ahead and awaken your leader on turn 1, which, hey, not too bad. It did its job at that point. Then we have Vegeta the Brawler, 1 cost 4K counterattack, negate the attack and play this card. And then auto, if your leader card is a Yellow Son Goku GT card, when this card is played, reveal the top card of your deck and then place it in your drop area. This is also another cool way to proc it, and technically another way to get it off on turn 1 if the top card of your deck is a blocker. Kind of hard to do on the awakened side, but hey, it is possible. As well as a negate, and then you just got a 5k combo on board. Hey, it does what it needs to do. And then a Trip to Hill, 0 cost, extra card, activate main for 1 yellow. If your lead card is the Yellow Son Goku GT card, draw 2 cards, choose 1 card in your hand and place it on top of your deck. So basically the leader ability. Then reveal the top card of your deck and place it in your drop area. Or it has an activate main limit 1. If your leader card is a Yellow Son Goku GT card and you have 3 or more energy, reveal the top card of your deck and place it in your drop area. So you get to basically do it for free. If you're in the later half of the game, if you're in the earlier part of the game, it's going to cost you 1 energy. This is kind of basically where it lands on in terms of this effect. I could definitely see you wanting to run this card just because it's very, having a like battle card, a way to be able to proc off the ability can be pretty important, just to be able to actually start your engine get going. Then we have the top end of the deck with Son Goku Return of the Dragonfist. 8 cost 25k Deflect Double Striker. Auto, when this card is played, choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO them, which isn't too hard to set up in yellow, of course. And then activate main for triple yellow if you have 4 or more energy and a yellow Unison card in play, which again, you can search it with your leader's awakened side, so it's almost guaranteed you can kind of get this set up. You get to play this card from your hand. And then activate main once per turn. Spirit Boost 2. Spirit Boost 2 is a lot. It's very expensive. Markers are going to be definitely something to watch out for, especially since people are going to be more incentivized to attack Unisons now, since seeing as it's resource denial if you're able to mitigate how many markers your opponent's Unison has. But if you can Spirit Boost 2 and your leader card is mono yellow, so it's not only the GT package. This card gains dual attack for the turn, and your opponent can't activate skills on battle cards with an energy cost of 7 or less from any area when this card is in battle. So it doesn't take care of everything, but it does deal with some. It doesn't deal with SCRs, by the way. SCRs cost too much for that to be a thing, but it does deal with some cards that had abilities like let's say Godstrike Beerus. It doesn't see too much play today, but as an example of something that would be able to remove the skills off of Son Goku and then render him a little bit useless for the turn, this goes around that and says, no, this will not happen. Also, I believe it prevents battle card counters just because the way the timing works, I believe this is attacking when the counter is declared. So I don't think you could like topo him or something like that. I stand to be corrected, but I'm fairly certain that's how that works. Then moving on to the Unison in the deck, here's Android 18 Defender of Heroes, the one that can be searched off of the Leader's Awakened side. It is a 1 specified cost 4K Unison, auto once per turn. When you remove a marker from this card using Spirit Boost skill, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and switch it to rest mode. So this is a free way to be able to get some rest mode stuff, which is really important because then we're able to use our removal cards more effectively. Then +2, activate main, look at the top 3 cards from the top of your deck, and then place them on top of your deck in any order. Is effectively great fixing. Not only does it set up your leader's mechanic, but it's also a really great way to be able to draw the cards you need to see more consistently in the deck. Then there's the -2, activate main, draw 3 cards and choose 2 cards in your hand and place them on top of your deck in any order. It is basically a brainstorm if you guys come from Magic. Again, very powerful. Not only does it set up the top of your deck, but you can shuffle away 2 cards you didn't want to see and be able to up the consistency of your deck a lot. So this Unison definitely, while it doesn't inherently give you advantage, does allow you to up your card quality, even though you're not getting advantage off, you know, the amount of cards you have in hand specifically. Then moving on to defense, we do have a couple of extra cards available to yellow this set. Opening the Gates of Hell, 1 cost counterplay, Spirit Boost 1. Choose all battle cards and Unison cards being played with 3 or fewer markers and switch them to rest mode, draw 1 card. Hey, not bad. It is like a low cost Bloodlust that draws you a card and has the extra cost of Spirit Boost, which can rest a card on board if you have the Unison on board. Then we have Watchman's Strike, 1 cost counterattack, negate the attack, then choose up to 2 of your opponent's tokens and switch them to rest mode. Permanent, this card skills can't be negated in any area. So can't be negated in any area is probably the most important text of this. A negate that will guarantee go through is super powerful, especially in a world where we actually do have a number of counters that are very relevant. So all these counters, I think every color got access to them, are going to be very important in terms of having 1 or 2 of, maybe even sideboard, just to know that if you're playing in a matchup where a counter could be key, this is something to keep in mind. The token thing is kind of weird. They all interact with tokens, which I don't totally understand why, but I mean, hey, it's there, I guess. And then moving on to a Fated Meeting, 2 cost, activate main or battle, draw 1 card, then choose up to 1 of your opponent's Unison cards or battle cards with an energy cost of 4 or less, switch to rest mode, and that card can't be switched to active mode for the turn. So it's expensive, but it is flexible. You can do an activate main, you can do an activate battle, which can definitely help you out in some tight situations depending on what your opponent's board is looking like. And then to round it out, we do have Krillin the Brawler, the super combo for the archetype. The super combo gimmick of this mechanic is effectively you can use them and put them under your Unison to effectively give them another marker. And then they replace themselves by drawing a card. So you have the ability to combo them away, or you have the ability to like get more markers on your Spirit Boost. So this gives you that flexibility to be able to decide which one's more important at any given time. I'm not too sure how many of these are going to see play. I don't think you play 4 of these, but I could see that being a world where you would play like maybe a 2-2 split of this and like maybe a draw 2 super combo or something like that. And that's basically set 14 SS4 Miracles. A very interesting archetype that manipulates the top of your deck, gives you a ton of card quality, enabled to be able to cheaply play a bunch of cards that control your opponent's board, and also allows you to have a bunch of defensive options that you can not only do on your turn, but on your opponent's turn as well to mitigate the tide of the battle. What do you guys think of the archetype? How would you guys build SS4 Miracles? Let me know in the comments down below. Hey guys, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you dislike it, thumbs down works too. And you watch more of my videos, guys, we are covering all the archetypes in set 14, Cross Spirit, and much more discussion on all that. Subscribe button's in the corner. With that said, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Ciao.